Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Need to Talk on every Sunday at noon. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. If you feel you need a therapist, please go to Google, type in therapy, your city, Psychology Today will pop up. Click on that and it will have all of the qualified therapists in your area. Also, the views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other damn therapist for that matter. Boom, shakalaka, done. Okay, a couple of things I wanted to definitely talk to you guys about. Some people have been writing in and saying, oh, I'm watching these videos in front of my narcissist and, you know, I'm demanding that they get it. Okay, guys, that's dangerous. I can't even begin, hi, everybody, can't even begin to tell you how dangerous that is. And that's why I'm doing this show today, is about the implosion of the narcissist. So when narcissists implode, next on Fox. So this is dangerous, guys. I can't stress that enough. So am I coming to the UK? I don't know at this point. It's looking less and less likely. It is. So just to warn you guys, I will make that decision in the next couple of weeks. So, all right. Where was I? Brain gone, squirrel. All right. So it is dangerous to show these videos to your narcissist and demand that they change. Listen to me now. Believe me later. These people do not have empathy. They are not going to suddenly wake up and have a V8, you know, oh my God, I should have had a V8. They're not going to do that. They're not going to figure it the fuck out. They're not going to be like, oh my God, I've been an ass. I need to stop acting like an asshat. No, that's not going to happen. And in fact, what they're going to do is they're going to implode. So let's talk about that. So people were also asking me, what does the word petard mean? Petard is... okay, so it's a Shakespearean quote, hoisted by their own petard. So in other words, they were caught in their own machinations. They were caught in their own, they were going to go blow somebody else up, but instead they blew themselves up. And that's what this means. So okay, let's talk about this. This is a dangerous time. We just had a woman in Gilbert shot to death by her estranged husband. Domestic violence case, and I knew it was going to happen, and this is scary and this is dangerous. So if you are living with an abuser, for the love of Christ and all that is holy, do not show them these videos. Do not watch these videos in front of them. Do not sit there and poke the bear, because they're going to poke back. Why? Let's talk about that. Narcissists live in a very carefully constructed bubble. Okay, they live in a very, very carefully constructed false identity. They do not live in reality, because a normal, healthy person would be able to go, if A, then Z. With a narcissist, their idea is, well, if A, my way, Z, right? And that's not the way the world works. So they've got a lot of magic thinking. And so they live in this carefully constructed alternate personality bubble, okay? So in their world, in their bubble, they are all powerful, all knowing, all seeing, all in control, all, you know, altruistic, the whole thing. And the ones that are really going to implode during this are the communal narcissists. And I'm going to get to that in just a minute. They're dangerous, guys. These guys, they're dangerous. This is a dangerous time for anyone trapped at home in a quarantine situation. So they live in this carefully constructed bubble of who they are, and who they are is a lie. It's like there's nothing real about it. In their minds, they're perfect. In their minds, they never make a mistake. In their minds, they're never wrong. In their minds, they're you know, this wonderful, awesome, amazing person, and the entire world should bow down to them and acknowledge them as such without commiserate, you know, stuff to back that up. So when a narcissist starts to implode, they are dangerous. Why? Because their bubble has been popped. This whole situation, this whole pandemic thing, has shown narcissists that they are not in control, and it freaks them right the fuck out. And they don't like it. They don't like it. They want to be in control of everything. And if they cannot, then they will try to control those around them to the detriment of everyone. So you're seeing the narcissistic mask slip like crazy during this time period, because they're out of control. You can't control a virus. It's going to do what the virus is going to do on the virus's own timetable. So you can't control that. And they don't like that. They don't like that. So what you'll see imploding narcissists do, especially the communal ones, they'll go to that paranoid thing. They'll go to that super religious, super end of days. It's all ending. Everything's bad. Everything's wrong. Everyone's out to get us. Very paranoid. They go for the very paranoid conspiracy theory, weirdness kind of thing. I'm talking about the communal narcissists, right? Like Jim Jones, that type of thing, cult leaders. So you'll see a lot of paranoia. You'll see a lot of, conspiracy theory. You'll see a lot of talking about ending it all. Okay. And this is where it gets dangerous. When their bubble has popped and their illusion of who they are is rapidly deflating, right? They've got nothing to lose. And these are the type of people that do the whole stalking thing, that do the whole, if I can't have what I want, nobody else can either. David Koresh, Jim Jones. Do you see where I'm going with that? So they're dangerous. They're absolutely dangerous. And they are not getting their narcissistic supply from normal means now that everybody is quarantined. So normally narcissists would go out and get it through their work, right? Or they would get it through their volunteer work, or they would get it through, whatever it is they were doing outside of the home. And then when they come home, they do their, narcissistic supply by, poking their target. So when that is no longer fun, and when they are realizing that they are not in control of anything, like literally, it's so funny. It's the antithesis of the Buddhist philosophy, which is, hey, relax, everything's fine. Why? Because you're not in control of anything. Okay. And you just go with the flow, which was my video I did a couple of days ago. Narcissists don't go with the flow. Narcissists will sit there and literally throw a temper tantrum when reality is staring them in the face going, no, motherfucker, you're not in control of anything. And instead of going, oh, okay, what they do is they fight and they rally and they implode. They get angry. They get vicious. They start attacking. They start, and it's because they just don't like the idea that they're not in control. They're not in control. So they think they are, but they're not. And it's dangerous for the target of abuse living with them because they are so out of control that the only thing that they can control is us if we're living with them. And that makes them very dangerous because they're going to want to prove to themselves that they are in control. So they'll start doing all sorts of going through your phone, accusing you of cheating, accusing you of actually being out having an affair when you're actually out grocery shopping covered head to toe with plastic bags and shit. They're crazy. They are crazy. They are insane and they are dangerous. So I wanted to go through a couple of things that narcissists do when they start imploding. Here are my reading glasses. Oh, dear God, I hope I can read with these. Oh, Lord. All right. So when the narcissist does not get his or her way, and it's usually very unreasonable. So they are very unreasonable in their thinking that they should get their way 24/7. That's just what narcissists do. They don't understand that the world, the sun, does not rise and set on their ass. It doesn't, but they think it does. And when that doesn't happen, they get very, very angry and they start raging. And I want to make this clear. The rages can be, and this is something that one of my listeners had said, small, medium, large, extra large. It doesn't matter. It's like, but the point is that they're raging and it's unreasonable. The level of anger is inappropriate to what's going on, kind of thing. And why are they doing it? Well, anger stimulates the dopamine, serotonins, norepinephrines, etc. It's a high. Why do you think when you go to an AA meeting, there's a whole bunch of old fucking dry drunks and they're all fucking pissed? It's because they're getting their hit off of being pissed. It's true. Oh, also, apparently because of the Zoom thing, that online meetings have not been secure and trolls have been on there encouraging people to use their drug of choice. There is not a circle of hell bad enough for these people. They are probably abusers. They are more than likely narcissists, and they deserve to rot in hell. Just wanted to put that in. Hi. So, okay, there it is. Okay, so when they don't get their way, so this is when they literally start imploding. Whoa, these are funky glasses. Okay, the narcissist has been criticized in some way, even when the critique is made diplomatically, reasonably, and constructively. So let's say you're trapped at home, you ask them to do the dishes. Surprise, surprise, narcissists think that housework is beneath them. Go figure. Yeah, they do. They think housework is beneath them. And so in some cases, when a spouse has asked for help, like with a newborn or cleaning the house or going grocery shopping or whatever, the narcissist comes unfucking hinged. How dare you? I don't have time. I'm more important than you. And then they start raging and they start abusing. So this is all like narcissistic rage that happens when the collapse comes. So hang on just a second. Okay. The narcissist isn't treated as the center of attention, even when there are other priorities. So the other thing that's happening is obviously kids are home with these jackwagons. And when the spouse, the target of abuse, pays attention to the kids, the narcissist comes unfucking glued. How dare you? You love the children more than me. I've actually heard them say that. That type of thing. And they get jealous of the pets because everybody's home with their pets. They're taking their dogs for walks, which I think is great. But it's like, they get jealous of the pets. They get jealous of the kids. They get jealous of, let's say you have a job and you're still working from home. They get jealous of that because you're not giving them all their attention. So let's say that they can't go into work for whatever reason. They'll try to stop you from doing your work on your computer. So yeah, they're cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Okay, hang on. Okay. The narcissist is asked to be accountable for his or her actions. Guys, they will not take responsibility, personal responsibility for anything. They have never in their minds been wrong for anything ever on the face of the planet. Ever. And they will state it publicly because they're that stupid. So, okay, I won't take responsibility, period. And they've said that. Narcissists have said that out loud to therapists even. It's like, really? Okay. Fascinating. Okay. Okay, the narcissist suffers a blow to his or her idealized, egotistical self-image, such as when being told he will not be given an exception to the rule or granted special treatment. So this whole COVID thing is really pissing them off because they're not getting special treatment. They're not being allowed into the grocery stores when it's seniors only. They're not being, their ego is not being stroked. And remember, for a narcissist, it literally is me, I, more my genitals. That's it. They don't give a fuck about anybody. They don't. And so since they're not getting their demands met and they're not being treated special because they're special, they're going to get pissed. And they're getting pissed because this virus is showing them that they are not special. Good evening and welcome to You're Human. Hello. Foible and guess what? Mortal. Ooh, that scares the fuck out of them. Okay, let's see. Oh, Jesus God. I really need to get different. Wait a minute. Hang on. All right, here we go. All right. The narcissist is reminded of his or her charade, manipulation, exploitation, inadequacy, shame, or self-loathing. So when things don't go their way, it reminds them that they're not special. It reminds them that they're not all-knowing, all-seeing, all-powerful, all in control. The narcissist feels fear, not in control of their relational or physical surroundings, and that is exactly what is happening. So what happens is that these behaviors become blatantly obvious in a time like this when we are trapped at home with them. And so what ends up happening is family starts backing the fuck off, going, holy shit, this person really is the big cray-cray and dangerous, et cetera, et cetera. Relational disillusionment and divorce, relationship cutoffs. So friends, family, workers, co-workers kind of start going, okay, that behavior is not okay. I'm not going to allow that. We're not going to do that. So their world's getting very, 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 very tiny. And remember, who was I talking to? I think it was Matthew Debias. He's a friend of mine. And he was saying that the perfect hell for a narcissist would be like the Phantom of the Opera, where he would put his victims into a room of nothing but mirrors. And you would think that a narcissist would love that, except that the mirrors would be magical so that they would show them who they really are. And I'm like, oh, damn, I kind of like that. So yeah, they're getting cut off and they're being more and more taken away from the illusion that they are all powerful. Loneliness and isolation, they're alone because they don't reach out. They don't have friends. It's like, oh my God. It's like when I see my neighbors or my friends, or not the one that I yelled at the other week because they're idiots, but when I see the ones I like, and we're like, oh my God, hi, waving to each other. How are you? We're fine. How are you? Connection, connection, connection. Narcissists don't do that. They don't think of another human being, really. I mean, they'll do it for show, but they won't do it like, oh my God, how are you? What can I do for you? Are you okay? Do you have enough toilet paper? They don't care. They don't care. They don't fucking care. So it becomes very, very isolating for them because now they're trapped with just them and their target of abuse and the kids, which really sucks for the target of abuse and the kids. They miss opportunities because okay, here's a great example. When I first started doing counseling, I had a client come in, kid, in his early 20s. And I think I wrote about this in the book. So anyway, books available on Amazon. So you can go to Amazon, you can get them on Audible, you can get them on Amazon Reading Kindle, I believe, and also hard copies. So you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them cha-cha, which is why some people get into abusive relationships and some people stay out of them, get out of them. This one is about me growing up with a dad who was an alcoholic and totally personality disordered. So anyway, these are the two books. When I first started my practice, I had a client that came in and they were in their 20s and insisted that they needed to be famous, like right now. And I was like, okay, well, how, why, what are you doing? Why do you need to be famous? Trying to figure out what the heck was going on. This is like in the very beginning of my practice. So I was kind of like, what is this? Oh, well, I'm a rapper and I'm better than all the rappers out there. I'm better than Dr. Dre. And I just went, oh, no, you're not. So, they were comparing themselves to Dre and to Eminem and all of these rappers and how great they were and had this, that, and the other thing. Okay, well, have you done a demo? Well, no. Okay, are you getting gigs? Are you like going out and getting? No. Okay. How do you expect to be famous if you're not doing anything to get there, right? Well, people should just recognize that I'm this talented, wonderful person. And his main complaint was that he didn't have any money, right? And so I was like, okay, well, you need to have a day job in order to support this dream of being a rapper kind of thing. And oh my Lord, he went off on this, how that's for plebeians and that's beneath him. And if he gets a job, he needs to have this high level managerial job that pays, $100,000 plus. And I'm sitting here looking at this, 19-year-old kid going, dude, that's not going to happen. And so then he blew up, because I burst his bubble. I burst his narcissistic bubble. And we're like, here's reality, dude. You have to have a job to pay for getting that dream of being an artist, because that's what artists do. Almost every single artist I know has a day job, and we work day jobs and then we do art at night and that type of thing. So no, wouldn't have any of it. How dare you? You obviously don't get me. You're not of my caliber, is what he said, which goes along with the, inventory of critiques, is that they feel that they should associate with somebody who is equally as famous and wonderful and awesome as they are. And so I was like, okay, well, let me give you some referrals. Bye. Good luck with that. So that's the kind of crazy magic thinking that they have, is that they come out and they're like, well, if I have a job, it needs to be $100,000 a year. Well, that's not the way it works. Sorry. You got to work your way up. You got to show, you got to earn it, that kind of thing. And they don't. They think that they should be given president, of the company immediately. So anyway, all right. So there is that. Okay. So missed opportunities. So they miss out on the normal opportunities because they're so unreasonable in what is to be expected. So when that doesn't happen, that bursts their bubbles and they come unglued, and then they take it out on their target of abuse. Financial, career, or legal troubles. So obviously with the dark triad, they break rules, gross irresponsibility, they don't pay bills, careless indulgence or other indiscretions, damaged reputation because they start blowing up at people. And guess what? Healthy people won't put up with it. So that's a good thing. They have a deep-seated fear of rejection or being unimportant, and it's worse if they have also got co-occurring borderline personality disorder, which many of them do. So there is that. So what are the signs of a collapsed narcissist? They may suffer a psychotic break where they temporarily lose touch with reality. So like the ones, like I said, the David Koresh's, the Jim Jones's, the communal narcissists who are using this pandemic as it's the end of the world and everything's terrible and everything's awful and this is going to happen and that's going to happen. Everybody's out to get us and we should all just kill ourselves. No, wrong. Incorrect response. But that's what they do. They go to these extremes of the paranoia. Okay, hang on. They lose touch with reality. They think everybody's against them. They feel persecuted and wronged by society as a whole, even though it's a virus and not a person. It's personal to them. They don't think they've changed, but the whole world is sick and twisted and plays against them. Everyone is turned against them, especially when the spouse is making it clear that they're not going to put up with it and they're not going to stay once the pandemic is over. This is why it's dangerous. You don't let your narcissist know what you're going to do. You keep your cards close to your chest. That's the only thing you can do to stay safe at this point. If you're planning on leaving your narcissist, play it like a poker game. You just, and don't wear reflective sunglasses. So you just keep them close and you don't show anybody anything and you just, do it once it's safe to get out and get away from them. You don't tell them you're going to leave them. Okay, everyone is turned against them, their kids, people at work. This mental breakdown leaves them disoriented and confused. It leaves them angry. They will start doing the avoidance personality type thing. They'll start calling in sick. They don't want to be around people because they realize that people are starting to see them for what they are. They go into a deep depression. They may threaten suicide at this point, especially if they think that you are going to leave them at the end of all of this. And if they do threaten suicide, you call the crisis line. So can we get the National Domestic Violence Hotline up there and also the National Suicide Hotline up there? So when somebody does that, when a narcissist threatens violence or threatens suicide, you call police. You absolutely, you take it seriously. I've said this 100,000 times. I'm going to say it 100,000 times more. Okay, so there is that. They have a need to save face, and they will twist themselves into pretzels to prove you wrong and them right. They will resort to violence to make them feel better. Let's see, what else is this? Collapsed narcissists are dangerous. That's really because they have nothing to lose. They've lost that illusion of control. They've lost that illusion of being all powerful and all knowing and all seeing. That's what Jim Jones did. So if you look at the Jonestown massacre, he ordered the mass suicide and killed himself because he knew that when the congressman had come down to investigate to see what was going on, because there were so many complaints from the family members that were back in the States going, what the hell's going on with our family? Jim Jones knew something was going to happen. And so he knew he'd lost control. And so it's an all or nothing end game with them. They're crazy. I can't stress this enough. They don't think like a normal person. A normal person can go, okay, well, here's this and here's that. And then here's a whole plethora of colors in between. With a narcissist, it is black and white thinking. It is all or nothing, good or bad, black or white. There is no in between. And that's why they're so extreme in their behaviors. So they either, when you are leaving a narcissist, they do one of two things. They either go, okay, she's on to me, he's on to me, I'm out of here, I'm going to find another supply. They find another supply and they leave you alone. That's option number one. Option number two is they stalk the hell out of you. They desperately want to regain control. Do you see where I'm going? It's like extremes with them. There's very little in between. And this is something else that came up, is that people were like, well, should I be hard on myself that my narcissist has not hoovered me? No, you should congratulate yourself, because they know on some level that you're going to say no. Thank God. Remember, they're avoidant. If they're not assured success, they're not gonna fucking do it. So there's that. Okay, hold on. And the Hoovers have been coming fast and furious for survivors of abuse right now because, you know, that it's the crisis Hoover. That's what they do. So if you are Hoovered, and I don't care who it's by, I don't care if it's by a family member, I don't care if it's by a friend, a coworker, a boss, a love interest, whatever, do not respond. Don't do it. If you have been no contact, stay no contact. For the love of God and all that's holy, keep safe. These people are... Remember what they did to you. Write your list of deal breakers. What did they do to you? Write your list of deal breakers. How many of your deal breakers did they break? I would imagine quite a lot. So don't let them back in. They're using this pandemic as an excuse to try to wiggle their way back into your life because they're out of supply. And you were delicious. Remember, your anger, your sadness, your tears were delicious to these people. They're fucking parasites is what they are. So, okay, hang on. Hold on. All right. Yeah. Failed narcissists are also paranoid and delusional. They will accuse you of cheating. They will say that you've turned your back against them just like everyone else and that they can't trust anyone now because of you. They become deranged and unhinged. They may show up at your door at 3 o'clock in the morning wanting to fight. Don't answer the door. Call police immediately. Do not answer the door. This is where so many targets of abuse go wrong, is that, like with this one in Gilbert, showed up at her apartment and she opened the door and, you know, oh God, Jesus, you know, no, don't answer the door. Don't even let them know you're home. Just call the police, call the police, call the police. And I've had people go, well, some of the police are narcissists. Okay, yes, that's true. However, we don't have a better fucking option. Call the police. If you hear domestic violence, if you see domestic violence, if your abuser shows up at your door and you've got to order protection against them, call the police. You are under no obligation to answer the damn door. I don't care what their bullshit excuse is. Don't do it. And if you've got kids together, you've got to do the parallel parenting. Remember that. And you don't have to answer or respond to anything that does not have to do with the kids. Susanna Quintana. Jesus Christ, I forgot to mention Susanna Quintana. Susanna Quintana, SusannaQuintana.com, okay? She is a narcissist specialist in that she has been there, done that. She knows how to help you go through those emails and only respond to what is relevant to the kids. Because remember, the narcissist is looking, male or female, doesn't matter. There may be every sex. It's out there. It's, you know, it's a thing. So what they're looking for is supply. They're looking for you to respond. They're poking the bear. And that's why they send these 14-page letters that are, you're horrible, you're awful, you're this, you cheated, you. One line about the kids. And they're hoping that you're going to respond to that whole 14-page diatribe, when in fact, you just need to respond about the kids. And that's it. Per our court agreement, you know, and then you cite it, you know, here's what I'm saying about the children. Have a nice day. And then you send it to them and then let them wind themselves up. But you do not have to answer the door. You do not, especially if you feel endangered. You do not. And if they are harassing you, file an order of protection. You must do it. Yes, it is a piece of paper. However, it is now a paper trail. And the more times they violate that paper trail, the easier it's going to be to get them in jail. So there it is. Oh, God. Okay, breathe, Chris. Breathe, breathe, breathe. Let's just all breathe. Shall we just breathe? Let's just breathe. Okay, taking a big, deep cleansing. All right, back to it. All right. So that's why they're dangerous, is because they have nothing to lose. And yes, they will show up to your door at 3 o'clock in the morning looking for a fight, especially now because they're bored and they don't have anything to keep them busy. So don't ever feel sorry for the narcissist. They will use every sob story on the face of the planet. I lost my job. Nobody likes me. I might as well go to the garden and eat big, slimy, hairy worms. Well, good. Go do that, fucker. They will use anything. They'll use sympathy. They'll use fear. They'll use obligation. They'll use guilt. So remember, fear, obligation, guilt, any relationship that makes that happen is an unhealthy relationship. Avoid, 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 abort, abort, abort. Don't go anywhere near it, okay? Never feel sorry for them. They will try to gain your sympathy and tell you how horrible they feel without you. This virus has made me realize the preciousness of life. I've actually heard them doing that to people. What the actual fuck. No, if regular life didn't make them realize the preciousness of life, they certainly don't realize it with a pandemic. So don't believe them. It's a load of, say it with me, bullshit. All right, there we go. All right, so basically they're just looking for somebody to stroke their ego. They need somebody to reassure them that they're fabulous and you don't need to be it. When narcissists lose their supply, they're like a drug addict not having access to their favorite drug, and the detox begins abruptly. They cannot handle it and they want people around them. You might be tempted to be the savior and, love them into healthfulness. That doesn't work, guys. That does not work. You cannot, listen to me now, believe me later, you cannot love them into health. It's not going to happen. I wish it would. It doesn't. Okay, so there is all that. And as soon as the danger is past, as soon as the pandemic has passed or whatever has passed, they're going to go straight back to their other ways, their old ways, their manipulative ways, their abusive ways, their harmful ways. And the thing of it is they're going to be worse than they were before. So that's why you don't tell them you're leaving. You don't show them these videos. You don't poke them and demand that they be a normal human being. They're not. So the rage, we're at the half an hour. Okay, I'm going to start answering questions. But the rage can be small, medium, large, extra large. It doesn't matter. If they're raging at you and it's unrealistic and it's cray-cray, that's a huge sign. You're living with an abuser. Something that one of the listeners wanted me to make sure and mention. Okay. Yeah, they can't stand the fear. They have temper tantrums. And it's when you are trapped at home with them, you start realizing that this is a pattern. You start realizing that this is a behavior. This is conditioning. And every time you don't do what they want you to do, they rage. They rage. And then when they realize they've gone too far, they slip back into the love bombing. So it's like this, again, one extreme or the other, one extreme or the other. So start watching for patterns. That's what they do. When you don't do what they want you to do, they start, raging, small, medium, large, extra large, or they start love bombing. One of the two, when they know they've gone too far. There's a pattern to this, guys. And it's like, swear to God, it's like every single narcissist on the face of the planet has got a fucking playbook. So, okay. Yeah, they don't like being out of control. Very good one that I needed to point out. Narcissists, part of their collapse of their fake bubble. Narcissists invent friends. They invent accolades. They invent a rival for you to fight against. So, especially with everything being shut down, that's going to blow up really soon. And it's going to be clear that none of this stuff that they were saying is true. Okay. They don't like emotions. And when we're in the middle of this pandemic, we're feeling a lot of emotions. We're feeling everything from fear to anger to sadness to hopelessness to helplessness to calm and they don't like emotions. They don't know how to deal with emotions. So if you're having an emotional moment in time, they'll get angry. They'll get pissed. They'll get, livid that you're having a normal human emotion. So today I was, John and I like to listen to music when we have breakfast. And today we were listening to Andrew Lloyd Webber's, hits. And for some reason they were only either playing Joseph in the Technicolor Coat or they were doing Phantom of the Opera, which, okay, whatever. And then it went to Andrea Bocelli and I can't think of the name of the song, Time to Say Goodbye. And I just burst into tears. And so John and I just sat there and held each other while we cried because it was so beautiful. And it was just, oh my God. But narcissists wouldn't like that. Narcissists would get angry. They would rage. They would, why are you crying? That's stupid. Why would you cry over a song? Well, I cry at ballets. I cry at opera. I cry when I see pretty flowers. I basically cry at the drop of a hat. But didn't used to, but I do now. And so they don't understand emotions. And so when we are having normal emotions, that are due to this extraordinary set of circumstances, they get angry because they can't understand them and they don't know how to cope with them. They can't even cope with their own emotions, let alone anybody else's. And that makes them dangerous because then I've seen them become abusive when the person wouldn't stop crying or, got angry at the abuser or whatever. Okay, so let's see. Yeah, they're dangerous. And so they implode when they realize that they have no control. And this thing has been pointing out how much no control they have. Okay, let's go to questions. So again, SusannaQuintana.com. She can go across state lines. She can do Skype. She can do phone. She can do Zoom. She can do whatever. She's your girl. She did say that she was starting to fill up, obviously, as am I, which is weird. I really would have thought I would have gone down, but no, I'm back up to the normal amount of people. So, and I think it's because we're trapped at home with abusers. So, and the stress level is like, woo, through the roof. So SusannaQuintana.com. All right. Question. Here we go. Whew. Can they experience hallucinations and delusions? Absolutely. Oh God, yes. Oh yeah, absolutely. They have a psychotic break. So what a psychotic break is that the person is literally cut off from reality and they will read into things that are not there. So like say, for example, you have a male coworker who is asking you about a certain project. The narcissist will grab your phone, read that text and decide that it's code for the two of you hooking up as soon as this whole quarantine thing is over. See where I'm going with that? So yeah, they are cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs, guys. When I say they are dangerous, I am not just whistling Dixie, okay? Yes, they can experience hallucinations and delusions. That is called a psychotic break. Psychotic breaks happen when the person just absolutely loses touch with reality and goes off into their own paranoid delusions. Yes. Okay. Next, let me find my cursor. Hold on. Self-soothing, doing yoga, working on myself. Good. Doing all I can. Going to Buddhist worry chart. Anxieties arise. The amygdala wants to master itself. I comment. Still having nightmares. Why? Because we are still in the middle of being triggered. So I was having a conversation with my buddy Jazz today. I've known her for, God, 30 years. Damn, I'm old. So she and I were talking and, she was saying, oh my God, I want to eat. I'm lethargic. I feel depressed. I feel sad. Why am I still feeling all this? I'm meditating and she's a yoga master. And so she's been meditating and she's been, doing the yoga and everything else because we're still in the middle of it, guys. That's why. So the amygdala, remember our amygdala, God love it, stupid, 3 O's, cannot tell the difference between a thought, reality, something in the past, imagining it, emotional. It's all the same to this little guy. So since we are still in this middle of this pandemic, yes, your amygdala is still going to be going, ah! And it should, because this is dangerous and scary and I don't like it and you don't like it and none of us like it and I think the fucking virus is a narcissist. So because it's like abusing everybody and it's in control right now. I think we should just start calling narcissists COVIDs. Anyway, sorry, this is my humor. Okay. So this is why, is because we're still in the middle of it. We're still having nightmares and this thing is still getting triggered. And remember, the amygdala cannot tell the difference between this threat that's going on currently and all of the previous threats that have happened in the past. It brings up all those feelings of hopelessness, helplessness, fear, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, this is part of PTSD. Nightmares are a part of PTSD. And the best thing to do is to write them down and see if you can analyze them. So Jung was a huge believer in the collective unconsciousness, and Jung was a huge believer in analyzing symbology. And, some counselors are like, it's a load of crap. But I'll tell you what, my dreams are very symbolic, and it usually has to do with what's going on in the outside world. So I like to go to Dream Moods, DreamMoods.com. It's got a dream dictionary there that's pretty good. Some of their stuff I'm just kind of like, ooh, no, that doesn't fit. No, that's not right. But a lot of their stuff actually fits. So you can analyze your own dreams, write them down, analyze them. What does it mean? What does it mean to you first before you go to Dream Moods? What does it mean to you first? Analyze it for yourself first. What does that feel like? What does that remind you of? Why are you dreaming this? What's going on? So do that, and then go back through Go to Dream Moods, see if they have any extra, possible symbology information that might help you with that. So yeah, it's common. It's normal, guys. It's normal. Take a deep breath. It's all normal. It's all normal because we're in an extraordinary time, and it's bringing up all of the previous trauma. So yeah, this is part of PTSD, guys. And unfortunately, PTSD doesn't ever really go away. It can lessen for sure, like the symptoms can lessen. But when we get stimulated again, yeah, a lot of that stuff is going to suddenly go pop and go, oh shit, it's still there. Fuck. So you just work on it. So some things that you might want to do is you might want to get a PTSD workbook, not a CPTSD workbook. You could. I mean, you could do the CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, but you also probably want to think about this virus is creating PTSD. It is. It's traumatic and it's happening currently. Not even post yet. So, start working through things like that to help you soothe yourself. You do the best you can, and then you got to let it go. Are you going to have nightmares? Probably. If you've had nightmares before in the past and you've had a history of abuse, yeah, because the PTSD is just kicking in. So soothe yourself, continue doing the self-soothing, continue doing the yoga, continue working on yourself, continue doing the Buddhist worry chart, write, journal, burn, do whatever, and start working the PTSD workbook. I think that might be helpful. Okay, question. You were right. My husband's narc family is attempting a crisis Hoover. I want to put my foot down and remind him no contact for our kids, but he's starting to talk to them. Do I let it go? Nope, absolutely not. Get him to start working CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, The Disease to Please by Harriet Breaker. It's a boundary issue. You've put up a boundary. And the guilt, the fear, the obligation, and the guilt, remind him of the fog. That's what's going on. He's probably not going to like it. And you've got to remind him. It's like, okay, well, let's do a list of deal breakers. What were the deal breakers that your family violated? The reasons why we decided to go no contact. Look, they broke this, and this is why we went no contact. Why are you getting in touch with them again? Are you feeling fear? Are you feeling obligated? Are you feeling guilt? Work with him. Get him to read Harriet Breaker, The Disease to Please. Also, Codependent No More, Beyond Codependent No More by Melanie Beattie. Those are great books. So yeah, do that. How do I handle blackmail from an abusive ex? Well, blackmail is illegal in the United States. You get the police involved and you go to town. And you hire an attorney and you don't put up with it. And you file an order of protection. So you don't, blackmail and extortion, guys, is illegal. It's illegal. Now, will it be embarrassing if they release whatever they're going to release? Yeah, here's the thing. Revenge porn is illegal. Let me just say it again. If somebody is blackmailing you, if somebody is extorting you, if somebody is doing revenge porn, releasing revenge porn, that is illegal in the United States, not just in Arizona. So you call a police officer, you file a report, you go get a restraining order against them, you get an attorney, and you go to town. So there it is. Is it true that narcs don't have coherent, contiguous narrative? In other words, they only get like snapshots of events. They get snapshots of events in regards to things that they want to control. So in their minds, they will see things through their filter. So remember, everybody's got a filter, okay? If you're a healthy person, that filter is not very clogged. If you're disordered, that filter is clogged, okay? And it's clogged with agendas for them. It's clogged with, what they want, what they need. Do they constantly do that? No, absolutely not. I don't believe that for 1 second, okay? But do they do that in particular when they're trying to manipulate and control? Well, I didn't remember you saying that. That's gaslighting. That's bullshit that they don't remember. They remember it. They just don't like it. So, and they convince themselves that it didn't happen or it did happen. Remember, gaslighting is where they say something did or did not happen when in fact the opposite was true. So, and they'll use that as an excuse. Well, I don't think clearly. I don't remember clearly. So yeah, don't buy that. All right. I have a lot of grief because I filled my life with narcissistic people and eventually left them behind. I've always had a ton of social anxiety. What do I do to really get past the grief? You allow yourself to grieve. So grieving is a lifelong event. It is. And the intense grieving is usually right after the loss, but sometimes it can be years later if it hasn't been processed. So it's really important to write and burn letters, write and burn letters, write and burn letters. To each person that was abusive to you, write it and burn it. Do not send it. The other thing you can do is you can text yourself. Don't text them. Don't send the letter. You can do that if you prefer texting. I like writing things out. Or you can type it. If you want to get the sensation of having mailed it, you mail it back to yourself. You do not mail it to your abusers. You don't. You write and burn. Let it go. So you're going to write a grief letter, the good, the bad, the ugly, the horrific. At the very, very end, you take your power back. It's like, yeah, I miss this about you, but I recognize you were toxic, like poisoned, and I don't need you in my life. Goodbye. You don't get to live up here rent-free anymore. I'm raising the rent. I'm worth more. Bye. See ya. Peace out. And then you trot it out to the barbecue, read it out loud once, and burn it and let it go. So this is something that all survivors of abuse go through, is the grief. And we don't even realize it because we're so angry at them at first, right? And then when we finally work through the anger, then it's like, oh, shit, there's grief. So, and this is common, guys. You're not weird. You're not, whatever. It's like, because remember, they presented to us one way and then really were another way. And we're grieving the loss of the way that we thought that they were, we liked, right? So don't be hard on yourselves. This is common. Okay, let's see. I have always had a ton of social anxiety. So with the social anxiety, part of that is a self-esteem thing. I would say get with a good therapist and start working on the trauma and start working on the grief and allow yourself to grieve and just process that through. Yep, absolutely. Okay, is there a support group I could find? Do they have that during this whole pandemic? Well, it's going to be an online support group. So outofthefog.website is one source. Flying Monkeys, oh my, narcissists, sociopaths, narcissists, flying monkeys, oh my, I think I got that backwards. Anyway, there's a whole bunch of groups. There's Shahida Arabi out there. There is Kim Saeed. There is, oh Lord, there's other, and there's a whole bunch of other things that you can look up, but be careful. So remember, in this time of pandemic, unfortunately, there's a bunch of fucking assholes that have decided that they're bored and they're going to go online like they did with AA and encourage people to drink, which sideways with an unlubricated baseball bat. And so there's predators out there. There are people who are evil out there. And so you just got to be careful with whatever support group you get into. Trust your gut. Report anybody that seems like they're inappropriate. And yeah, there are support groups out there. You just got to go online and find them, and there will be online support groups. So yeah. Okay, how do I stop cravings to reconnect with Flying Monkey Father? We used to have a good relationship, and I miss him. No contact for 1 year. Reconciliation dreams won't stop, and I wake up crying. Normal. Totally normal, sweetie. Totally, totally normal. But here's the thing you have to remind yourself. Hang on. Flying monkeys are one of two things. One of two camps. They are either just ignorant. They just, lights are on, engines running, nobody's home. They don't get abuse. They don't understand it. They don't understand how a narcissist work, which is still possible. Or more likely, they are a minor narcissist themselves. So that would be a grief thing. Your brain is missing that person and it's going, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? It's just like a drug dream. It's just like when you stop using drugs, you have drug dreams, So you want to write a letter and burn it. You want to write down the dream. Again, write it down. What does it mean to you? Really, though, what does it mean? Sometimes a cigar is not a cigar. Kind of a little reverse on Freud there, but sometimes a cigar is not a cigar. So sometimes a reconciliation dream is more about you than it is about the other person. So dreammoods.com, go and analyze it, or analyze it for yourself first. That's what I like to do, is I like to go through and go, okay, what does this really mean? How does this relate to me? How does this relate to the past? How does this relate to this person? How does this relate, what does this really mean? And then I'll go on to dream moods and see what their symbology is and try to figure it out that way. Get with a good therapist, get with a good trauma therapist, because if the father was a flying monkey, they were not your tribe. They were not in your camp. They were not keeping you safe. So you don't want that, and you don't need that, especially with all of this going on. Okay, question. Do narcs cry too, but only because of what it means to them? Yes! Oh, crocodile tears like nobody's business. Holy shitballs. I had one couple where the guy got caught red-handed cheating, and you should have seen the waterworks. But here's the weird thing. He was making all the motions, but he never teared up. And he sounded like he was crying, but he never teared up. They are consummate actors. They are. And yes, they will do the, but they never tear up. There's never any tears in their eyes. There's never, it's just like, how do I explain it? When they smile, like when you see a psychopath smile, it is the creepiest fucking thing on the face of the planet. It never reaches their eyes. It never reaches their eyes. It's a, what do they call it? Duchenne smile, something like that. Anyway, it's like it never reaches their eyes. So like a normal person, it reaches their eyes, right? You can see it. With a psychopath, it never reaches their eyes. It's like, oh, okay, spawn of Satan. Thank you. Bye-bye. So yeah, it's kind of creepy. Yeah, they will absolutely turn on the waterworks, do whatever because they got caught, or because it means something to them, or, they're looking for sympathy, or they're looking for, to manipulate and control by making you feel sorry for them. Don't fall for it. They do not feel. They have learned to mimic. The psychopaths do that. They learn to mimic normal human emotions in order to pass for a real human. So yeah, no, don't fall for it. And watch the eyes. The eyes are the mirrors to the soul. Swear to God and all that is holy. They are mirrors to the soul. And there are psychopaths out there that can kind of sort of fake that, but if you've been around it for a long time, you can spot it and you can see it and you go, ew, creepy. All right. How do you get away from the narc when you don't want that connection? Wait, do you mean like as far as like being in a pandemic is concerned? Like if you're quarantined with them, that's going to be a lot harder. So if you are quarantined with them, you kind of have to play the game until we can get through this and you can get out. Okay. If you are not quarantined with them, then you simply let it die by attrition. You don't respond. You go no contact. So there's levels of no contact. So the first one is gray rock, which is when they're doing their thing and you're just like, no emotion, no emotion, no emotion, See where I'm going with that? The next one is no contact. You don't explain. You do not explain. This is the thing that we have got to get out of the habit of doing, is explaining ourselves to these assholes. Stop explaining yourself. You don't need to explain yourself. So what you need to do is when you go no contact, you make the decision and then you block them completely, totally, absolutely, from everything. And what happens is a lot of targets of abuse go, oh, but I don't want to hurt their feelings. They don't have any. I cannot make that clear enough. They don't have any, guys. I wish they did. They don't. They do not. Trust me. The only thing they're pissed off about is that they don't have any of that delicious supply. So yeah, when you're deciding that you're done and you're done, you cut them off. You go no contact. You block them from every social media, every phone, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, LinkedIn, everything. You block it. Block. You just block. And then you have nothing more to do with them. And you continue on with your life and get with a good therapist to figure out why. Why was this person in your life? How were you groomed? How does this relate to the original wound? What is this? What is this over here that caused you to look out here to get that person into your life? Work on that. All right. Why is it so hard not to feel the urge to call the ex-narcissist? Well, okay, normal people have emotions, and normal people like connections, and normal people like socializing. And when we've had a deep connection to somebody, it's normal to want to call them, to talk to them, to see how they are, to catch up, to et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Except we keep forgetting that that person that we fell in love with was a mask. It wasn't real. There's no there there. So we keep getting that urge to call them because we keep going down that primrose path of thinking of all the good things. You need to start thinking about the bad things. Do your list of deal breakers and then do a list of every rotten thing they did to you and then compare the two lists. How many deal breakers did they break? How many times did they trample your heart? How many times did they lie to you? How many times did they cheat you? How many times did they steal from you? How many times did they smear you? How many? Because I'll tell you something, normal people don't do that shit. Normal people do not do that shit. Only abusers do. So that's how you stop that urge. You've got to remind your inner child, honey, getting in touch with them is not going to be any different. That's the definition of insanity, is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different outcome. It's not going to happen. So it's our inner child that's encouraging us to get back in touch with them, because its inner child is desperate to be loved. Love your inner child. Inner child workbook, Catherine Taylor, do it, work it. CPTSD, From Surviving to Thriving by Pete Walker, do it, work it. The PTSD workbook, that's a great one. Disease to Please, Harriet Breaker. You know, it's like the list goes on. Work on you. And when you get that urge to call your ex, no, work on you instead. How old are you? How old are you really when you're wanting to call them? How old are you? Are you 5? Are you 10? Are you 2? What's going on? Let's comfort that inner child. Let's get in touch with that inner child. How about you write them a letter? Dear little 10-year-old me, dear little 2-year-old me, here's what you need to know. I'm the mama now. I'm the dad now. You're not going to get what you need from this person, but you will get it from me. As long as I am working on self-esteem with Glenn Schiraldi, the self-esteem workbook, or You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. See where I'm going with that? All right. Okay, hang on. How do you know the difference between a narc and someone who is just emotionally immature, abusive, and just an abusive person because they never learned to cope properly and handle conflict? Oh my God. Okay, so that is a narcissist. Narcissists operate on a 2-year-old level. Seriously, have you watched them have temper tantrums? They're a 2-year-old, if that. Abusers are narcissists. Abusers are cluster Bs. So the more malignant end of it, obviously. So if somebody is immature, abusive, and just an abusive person, have nothing to do with them. You cannot fix them. You cannot heal them. You cannot, because you did not break them. Not your job. 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 So they are an abuser, they are a narcissist, or they are a malignant borderline. One of the two. That's where you're going to find your abusers, is in the cluster Bs. Malignant, guys, not the lower end of the spectrum with borderline, so up higher. Okay, my neighbors are abusive to the kids in their house. I called the cops. The cops gaslit me, then told neighbors I had called. Are you fucking kidding me? The abusers have been harassing my family. What do? You go to the media. You go to the media. You go to the media. That's your next step. You go to the media. If the police are unwilling to protect you and they have done this, you go to the media. Abso-fucking-lutely. Some abusers, some people seem so pure intelligent, so pure, comma, intelligent, yet they are flying monkeys for pedophiles. How to cope with the confusion this produces? Do we isolate? I'm not unsure I understand the question. If somebody's a pedophile, you should be turning him into the police, period. I'm not sure I understand the question. If you could kind of like maybe expand upon that so I understand what you're talking about. How to forgive them without, oh dear, how to forgive them without falling into stupid forgiveness. Okay, so let's talk about that. I'm going to, in a couple of minutes, I'm going to stop with the questions because my voice is starting to go. Okay. So there's a difference between, everybody confuses forgiveness. They think that forgiveness means idiot compassion, which is what Pema Chodron, the American Buddhist nun, she's written a whole bunch of books. I love her. She's got some great books out there, guys. Go check her out. Pema Chodron. So compassion versus idiot compassion. Compassion is being able to go, oh, Wow. I see why you are the way you are. You came from this horrible childhood. You clearly were born without empathy. Wow, sucks to be you. I have compassion. I feel sorry for that. I feel sad for that because I see that this lifetime you have chosen to struggle. Okay. That's compassion. That's, it's like you're not damning them, you're not screaming at them, you're not whatever, but you're also not allowing them in your life. So it's kind of like, okay, yeah, I can see why you are behaving the way you are. I have compassion for the way that you are behaving the way you are. However, I love myself and I am not going to allow you to abuse me. You get to learn your life's lessons somewhere else. That's compassion. That's forgiveness. That's letting them go with love, right? Good luck. God bless. Hasta la vista. Idiot compassion is where we do the whole, I forgive you. It's a clean slate. Let's do it again. No, that is not compassion. That is idiot compassion. So when you forgive somebody, you acknowledge that, yeah, they're fucked up. They are fucked up. They are monsters. You bet. And I don't need to have that monster in my life. And good luck. I wish you well. Bye-bye. And you let them go. Idiot compassion is where you hang on to them and I forgive you. Let's do it again. I know I can love you into health. No, that's not forgiveness. And that is not compassion. So basically, the only way that these people will learn is when everybody stops allowing them to abuse them. They won't have any choice. So it's going to be ugly for them. Absolutely. It's going to be a painful, ugly lifetime because that's what they have decided. So there it is. This is just the Buddhist me talking about this. So you can have compassion for them. You can forgive them, but it has to be a true compassion in that I understand where they come from. I get it. I see it. It sucks. I'm sorry that you've chosen that for yourself this lifetime. And I do not need to have you in my lifetime. Bye-bye. And you let them go. Stupid forgiveness or idiot compassion is where you go, I can love them into health. Nope, you cannot. You cannot. It's not your job. You cannot do it. They are going down a path that you cannot follow and you don't want to follow. Trust me on that one. Okay. I bought the Inner Child Workbook. Excuse me. I bought the Inner Child Workbook and it's still in transit. Anything I should be aware of or think about to prepare? Okay, so the Inner Child Workbook is going to be working on it from a physical level out, okay? Pete Walker is more of a cerebral. It's more of the, what were they saying to you? What were the behaviors towards you? What were the thoughts towards you? What was said to you? That kind of thing. The Inner Child Workbook is more of a physical. The Body Remembers. The Body Keeps Scores by Bessel Van de Kirk. Bessel, shit, why can I never remember his name? Body Keeps Score, great book. So it's going to be working on a physical level. So the body does have body memory. Okay. Like, so when I, broke my arm riding a motorcycle, I went to go buy another motorcycle, exact same type, same color, same everything. I put my hand on it and I immediately had a panic attack. And I was like, okay, not ready. Okay. I'm not going to do this now. So the body remembers. And so it goes through the different stages, grab, one of the first ones is the infant stage. So grab a blanket, grab some applesauce, play with it. What comes up? For a lot of people, nothing comes up. But for some people, it does because that's when the abuse started. So like one client I had, she suddenly couldn't feel her throat. Her throat was raspy and raw. And oh my God, why? Why do I feel like I've been screaming for hours? What did they do with you when you were in the crib? How long were you left in the crib? Oh my God, I was left in the crib for hours to scream myself to sleep. There we go. So it works on physical stuff to help you remember, to help you process, to help you do that. It can be very triggering. So when it gets overwhelming or too much, and a lot of people tell me, they're like, oh my God, I'm scared. I'm scared of remembering this. I'm scared of going back. I'm scared of this. I'm scared of that. Valid, totally valid. So here's the thing to remember. You are an adult. You survived. You made it through your childhood. You're here. You're listening to me. So that means you survived. So remembering it's going to trigger the amygdala, and the amygdala is stupid. Remember, it's going to be like, here and now. And you got to go, okay, amygdala, no, this was in the past and I am safe and I am okay. So you walk away from it for a little while, but do go back to it. That's the big mistake people make, is that they get overwhelmed and then they go, I'm feeling, yuck, and then they're like, okay, I'm never touching that book again. Well, guess what? You gots to. You gots to. So go do something else. Go do the self-esteem workbook. Go do The Disease to Please. You Are a Badass by Jen Sincero. Go read something fun. Go do something different and then come back to it. You are worth it. You alone are worthy of your own love, your own time, and your own attention. Never forget that. The other thing I wanted to say too is it's worthless to try to get involved with a narcissist trying to explain to them how they've hurt you. And I want to reiterate that because this is dangerous, guys. If you try to get them to explain, to understand how they've hurt you, they will word salad and then they'll flip it back on you and they'll blame you and come up with more stuff that's all your fault, and you're going to end up the worse for wear. So there's a couple of good sayings that I would like to impart to you. Never get into a pissing match with a skunk. Number one. Number two, don't wrestle with a pig. You're just going to end up dirty and the pig's going to like it. So remember those two sayings when you're thinking of engaging your narcissist with a tirade of why they hurt you. It's not going to do any good. Just walk the fuck away. Get the fuck away from them. They are not your problem. Okay, guys. Whew. This was a big one. So when they implode, it's because they've lost control. And they're terrified and they're angry and they're realizing that they're not all powerful. They're realizing that you're going to leave. Their mask totally slips and all of their raging comes out. It's going to be irrational. It's going to be crazy. It's going to be inappropriate to whatever happened. They're showing you who they are. Believe them the first time. Be very careful. Be very, very, very careful. If you are feeling you are in danger in any way, shape, or form, please get out. Please call the local women's shelter or shelter and or trusted friends and get out. You cannot love them into health. You cannot love them into sanity. You cannot change them. It's not your job. And if you hear domestic violence going on, call the police. And if that's not doing it, get the media involved. Nothing scatters cockroaches faster than a light being shined on them. So do be careful. Do be good to each other. Don't hoard. Watch out for your neighbors. Check in on the elderly. Check in on the young. Make sure they're okay. And I think that's about it. Okay, guys, I will talk to you next Sunday. I'll probably do some other little during the week, answering more questions or, helping keep everybody calm because, that's all we can do. It is what it is. And you do what you can and you let the rest go. All right, kiddos, be good. Love you all. Be good. Stay healthy. Please, please, please stay healthy. I don't want to lose any of you to this stupid virus. Where the heck did my thing go? There it is. Hello. All right. I will talk to you guys later. Mwah. Bye.